In the silent expanse of deep space, where even time seems to sleep, something unexpected has crossed into our solar system. Telescopes across the world turned their eyes toward a new arrival, a frozen traveler glimmering like glass in the darkness between the stars. They call it 3-Eye Atlas. A name that came from the survey telescope that found it, and from the strange, threefold shimmer that danced across its surface when sunlight struck it at just the right angle. To most, it looked like a comet. But to scientists, it was a question wrapped in ice, a relic from a place beyond our sun, perhaps even older than our system itself. A fragment of a forgotten world, wandering endlessly through interstellar space. For months, observatories followed its careful approach. Each night it brightened, its halo expanding, its tail cutting across the darkness like a blade of silver light. And then came the realization, this was no ordinary comet. Its orbit wasn't bound to the sun at all. It was on a hyperbolic course, meaning it was just passing through, a one-time visitor from another star. When it crossed Mars' orbit, something strange happened. Its brightness flickered, rhythmic flashes, almost like coded pulses. Spectral scans revealed something even stranger. Complex carbon chains, alien minerals, and frozen compounds never seen before on any known comet. It was, without a doubt, a messenger from beyond. But as it approached the sun, awe turned into disbelief. At a distance where solar radiation should have torn it apart, 3-Eye Atlas stayed intact. Solar winds slammed against it. Ultraviolet light scorched its surface. Magnetic turbulence wrapped around its orbit. Yet it held together, glowing a soft blue, then shifting into a ghostly green, as if its heart were alive with some inner fire. It defied every model, every expectation. Some believed it was not a comet, but a shattered world's fragment, hardened by time into something almost indestructible. Others thought it might carry the frozen chemistry of a distant sun, maybe even traces of life locked in crystal form. When it reached perihelion, its closest pass to the sun, astronomers waited for it to die. Instead, the impossible happened. A massive solar storm erupted, a wall of plasma and fire roaring outward at millions of kilometers per hour. And at that very moment, 3-Eye Atlas stopped. For several haunting moments, it appeared motionless. No tail distortion. No acceleration. Just stillness. Then, as if time had restarted, it moved again, steady, unchanged. No one could explain it. How could an icy body resist that level of solar fury? What kind of material, what kind of origin, could create such resilience? When the James Webb Space Telescope was turned toward it, the mystery deepened. Its gases weren't normal. The infrared spectra showed massive carbon dioxide levels, nearly 10 times higher than any known comet. And among those lines were patterns of molecules that didn't belong to our solar chemistry. It was as if it had been born beneath a different kind of light, under a sun that burned with alien rules. Over eons, radiation had transformed its surface into something extraordinary, a hardened crystal shell dense enough to deflect solar particles. When the solar storm hit, the comet didn't crumble. Its surface lit up with plasma arcs, glowing like a living flame, but its heart remained whole. Instruments detected faint electromagnetic echoes, like a tone reverberating through metal, as if the comet was resonating with the solar wind itself. It was almost musical, a cosmic vibration no one could fully explain. From that moment, 3-Eye Atlas was no longer just an object of study. It became a symbol of endurance, a survivor forged in the fires of countless suns. It reminded scientists that not everything fragile is weak, and not everything ancient is finished. When the storm faded, the silence that followed felt almost sacred. Its tail shone brighter than before, a luminous turquoise trail stretching across millions of kilometers. It had faced the sun and won. Weeks passed, and the great wanderer began its slow retreat, drifting away from the blinding warmth of the sun, returning to the quiet kingdom of shadows that stretched beyond the planets. The storm had passed, but its memory lingered, written in the comet's glow. Its once silver tail now burned in shades of turquoise and pale green, stretching across millions of kilometers, a scar of light left upon the heavens. Through the telescopes of Earth, it looked almost peaceful, but there was a feeling of reverence in that peace, like watching a survivor leaving the battlefield, scarred yet unbroken. The comet had endured the sun's fury and emerged radiant. It was not fleeing the light, it was carrying it with it. Every night, as it grew fainter, astronomers captured frame after frame, its luminous trail thinning against the black, like the last brushstroke of an artist signing the sky. For many, this was the final chapter of its journey. But for others, it felt more like a beginning, the start of a mystery that would echo through generations. When 3I Atlas finally slipped beyond the orbit of Jupiter, instruments could barely trace its glow. And yet, even in that faint shimmer, scientists found something extraordinary. Spectrographic readings still detected energy fluctuations, as if the comet's core retained a heartbeat, a faint resonance that refused to fade. It was as though something within it still remembered the heat of the sun, still carried the song of that impossible storm. Some astronomers proposed that the comet's crystalline structure had absorbed part of the solar radiation, trapping it in atomic layers like memory locked in stone. Others whispered more daring ideas, that perhaps the object wasn't only a relic of physical matter but a record of another age of the universe. A frozen archive, drifting through eternity, bearing within it the chemistry and secrets of distant suns that burned long before our own. What if, they asked, 3I Atlas wasn't just a traveler, but a messenger? A fragment cast out by the death of another system, carrying the final light of a world that once was, now passing silently through ours? As it vanished beyond Saturn's path, its glow merged with the darkness. For the first time in months, the instruments of Earth fell silent. The data streams ended. And humanity was left alone again with its questions. But those questions mattered. Because for the first time, we had witnessed a thing that challenged our very understanding of survival. Against the violence of a star, against the laws of thermodynamics, against the certainty of destruction, it endured. In that endurance was a message, not in words or signals, but in its very existence. It told us that strength is not always born from size or power, but from resilience. That even in the coldest places of creation, something can learn to persist, to hold its shape against impossible odds. In universities and observatories, theories multiplied. Could comets like 3I Atlas be the true carriers of cosmic memory, vessels that drift from system to system, surviving the births and deaths of stars? Could they be the seeds of life, spreading molecules of carbon, oxygen, and water to young worlds waiting in the dark? Or were they simply fragments of forgotten catastrophes, their endurance nothing more than chance? No answer came. Only wonder. And so, as 3I Atlas disappeared beyond the heliosphere, the invisible edge of the sun's reach, humanity watched and waited, knowing it was gone not forever, but only beyond our sight. In the distant future, perhaps millions of years from now, it might enter another system, pass by another star, and awaken once more beneath alien light. Maybe another civilization will see it then, study it, and ask the same questions we did, and perhaps they too will hear its silent message. That endurance itself is a kind of intelligence written into the universe. Because whatever it was, comet, fragment, messenger, or survivor, 3I Atlas had proven one undeniable truth. The cosmos does not always destroy its wanderers. Sometimes, it teaches them how to endure. And that lesson, quiet but eternal, became part of us. In every spacecraft that braves the void, in every probe that dares to touch another world, in every telescope that reaches for the unknown, A small part of that combat spirit continues. It reminds us that exploration is not just about discovery, but about persistence, the will to continue, even when surrounded by silence. So, as the stars wheel on and the night sky grows older, we wait for the next visitor, another voice from the interstellar dark. Because one day, somewhere out there, another traveler will come, another spark from the deep beyond. And when it does, we'll be ready to listen.